do we do the live on this?
Yeah.
Yeah, we just have to press it right here.
Oh, there we go.
Go live.
There we go. All right.
What's up, guys? What's good? What's good? I got a mosquito bite. We're over here live. Obviously, we're in my house, Miami, Florida. It's a beautiful Thursday afternoon, and it is hot. So I'm over here,
sweltering.
obviously, for the first time, introducing the man behind the scenes, our marketing director here, Chris. And I just wanted to go ahead and we have a few things that we want to go ahead and cover, and a few questions that some of you guys have out there. And we just wanted to go ahead and address them. So let's go ahead and get started.
Yeah, it sounds good. All right, so we went ahead and we spoke to a lot of clients who call in all the time, and one consistent.
Yo.
What's up, Darian? One consistent theme that everyone has is, what's the story behind Justo? What's the story behind BWS? How did you guys get started? Where are you located? Where are you really in Miami? Who knows?
Shoot, I'm sweating right now because it's hot out here, humid as hell.
The weather here, the summers are
scorching.
Yeah. So so let's go ahead and get started. Let's get started. So by the way, this is his setting.
This is my backyard, guys.
His place.
Check it out. Got the barbecue over there. I got my dog running around, so he might be barking.
So we had a little Q&A, and what's one of the most popular questions that we get when a client first calls us, right?
Mm-hmm.
So one of the questions is, are you a real company? Are you legitimate? What's the is there a gimmick? So we wanted to address it and kind of tackle it. And Huso had a couple few things.
Well, in regards to the business, obviously, we're here in Miami, Florida. A little bit of background on myself as to how the business got started. Really, just to give that elaboration a little bit. A background on myself, for the people who don't know. I was actually a mortgage broker many years ago. So I've literally been in the credit industry, in the credit game, for a little bit of about 15 years now, right? So
wow.
After I started, I was actually I had just turned 20 years old. I got into the mortgage industry. I'm 35, by the way. So when I first got into the mortgages, obviously I started learning, I started absorbing as much as possible, which obviously gives me, I would say, an advantage or an edge, especially now when it does come to tying out what the goals are for what our clients and stuff like that is. But overall, after I did that in 2007, 2006, my credit report, fantastic. From after the economy actually fell, because that's exactly what happened in 2007.
It's a little hot, guys. So please excuse it.
Yeah, we're gonna we're gonna be sweating over here. After that happened, obviously the economy fell. Then I actually had the opportunity to go into banking. So I applied with Bank of America, and they had a mortgage side aspect of it. Mm-hmm. And just given the fact that obviously still things didn't go as planned with regards to the economy, that department obviously closed out. I got into business banking, and so I was a business banker for Bank of America for about 6 years. And then that's really where I just, looking at all these business owners, looking at all these people that I used to help out. I've always had a passion or a dream of opening my own business. And obviously, given the fact that a lot of people had hurt from the economy back in 2007, I went ahead and I decided to get in touch with a credit repair company over here, as a matter of fact, in downtown Miami.
Yeah.
It was called Get Credit Healthy. I started learning a little bit more with regards to credit, how credit worked. I obviously had a partner. After me and my partner kind of dissolved the first company that we had, which was called Redemption Credit Education. Mm-hmm. I opened up Buildworth Strategies in February of 2015. And as a matter of fact, I ended up opening up, actually, I got a desk at a tax office where we obviously expanded to 3 desks to obviously having an office physically here in Miami Gardens. And then obviously now we have 3 offices with the grace of God. We're continuing to help out a lot of people, and that's pretty much a little bit of background on the business, on the company. So
Well, one of the things that you mentioned to me, Justo, was that the relationship that you had with this other business partner, you felt like things could have been done better. It could have been done more efficiently. We could have reached a lot more people.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, people have their own way of going about the business, how they want to handle it. So I know it's one of your passions that you wanted to do things your way and get as many people as possible help, because it's not really something that we talk about. They don't talk about it in school. They definitely don't
Yeah.
talk about it in college. And I go to UM, and I can attest to that.
even our parents don't even really help us
No
out.
one brings it up, and no one prepares us. And we felt like there was a huge gap
Yeah.
that needed to be filled, not just from our perspective here in Miami, but across the country. So if you can imagine, you have these conglomerates. You have what are all the credit companies,
Dude,
right?
we're talking about Lexington Law. We're talking about creditrepair.com. And again, it's something that I've always said, especially to my clients,
Yeah.
especially to people that I talk to with mortgage companies. There's not enough credit repair specialists out there
Yeah.
doing this to help out the need, really.
Yeah.
And that's really the fuel, that's the passion, that's the drive that I have personally. I've seen firsthand what happens when you don't have credit. I've seen firsthand what happens when you do have healthy credit, the
Yep.
benefits, the advantages that you get, and that's something that I love to share. I love to help others. I love to bring people up, and because of that, I just felt the need that, dude, we have a solid service, something that works. It's worked for me. It's worked for my family. It's worked for us, and why not share this with everybody?
Yeah, and that's one of the things is that we're like-minded people, and we don't want to hoard that information. We want to make sure that we give it out to the people, that we're as transparent as possible, and it's not always about the end result, the dollar bill, we want to give something to the nation that we just felt was lacking.
Absolutely. At the end, guys, obviously there's a cost to this. There's a cost for doing business, and that's where we really try to do the best that we can to try to make it comfortable for certain individuals. We try to go above and beyond. We try to do whatever we can to make things comfortable. So, and we know that a lot of the times when you have bad credit, it's very difficult to try to get out of that rut, especially that you already have certain bills, certain budgets in place, and we understand this firsthand. So this is why. Part of the program is the education, and where we go ahead and just try to help you guys as much as possible,
Yeah, and one thing to keep in mind is that because we've gotten the questions, are you real? Are you, and one thing
I'm here.
one of the things is that keep in mind that
Yeah.
BWS was around many years. Now, what we are new to is
the social media aspect
scene.
of it. This is brand new to us.
So so the company's been around.
Yeah.
Primarily, we did most of the business.
Oh, well, one thing that I was sharing with Chris is how I got started. Dude, I'm talking about the grind type of stuff. I'm talking about the heavy lifting, the heavy duty. When we first got started, obviously coming from banking, I had a lot of friends of mine that were in banking or maybe had left to other banks from Bank of America. And I had the opportunity to meet a lot of business owners. So in reality, I thought it was a great way to start a business, given the fact that I had a lot of relationships that I had built throughout the years. So with all that said, I started going into the dealerships. I started getting to know a lot of the guys out there. I started hitting Rick Case Honda was a very hot one. Actually, the one in Davie, Florida. It's the biggest Honda dealership in the world. Besides that, I hit up a lot of mortgage companies. I had a lot of buddies of mine that obviously allowed me the opportunity to work with them to help their clients, the ones that were being declined. Obviously fixing their credit, getting them back on track. Because again, everything's a process, guys. So that's really how I started. I was oblivious to a YouTube. I was oblivious. I didn't even know what Instagram was. I still don't even know how to manage the whole thing. Chris is the one that helps me out. So believe it or not, even though you guys see those posts, but obviously this is the man. Obviously, I work with Ray. Ray's been a huge blessing to the business as well. I got to give a special shout out to Ray with regards to that, because that's really how we started coming about. Social media. So in reality, this is, and it's still relatively kind of new to us. So it's not something that that I know how to manage properly. We're still trying to, learn as we go. So social media aspect of it, I would say in the last 12 months, that's how young we are in this social media platform. You know what I'm saying? So
And I know a lot of times when you used to come back from these meetings, you would get such a huge response from these people, and you would literally come back to the office, and it's like I can't get to everybody, and although I'm going to these locations like the dealership, the banks, there's so many people that want this information. That Husa's only one person,
yeah,
so we figured, you know,
I have to show other people what I know. I
yeah,
have to. I knew that I had to create a system or a process where
hmm
other people could obviously come up to par, learn the service, learn how things worked. We continue to. I train all the time. It's so much information, guys.
yep,
So even for you guys out there, obviously trying to do this on your own, or maybe consulting with a company such as ours, or maybe going some other route. Sometimes credit is a lot of information, it's a lot of details. So the continuing education aspect of it is really what's helped us.
hmm
Opportunity right now, we're literally in my backyard, and we have an office. We have 3 offices here in Miami Gardens, and I have a full-blown operation. I have a team that supports me, that backs me up. I'm in constant contact with them. If I need to get on the phone, I get on the phone. If I need to speak to somebody with regards to processing, and we're continuing to expand. So as a matter of fact, I just got off the phone right now because we're looking to hire additional
yep,
help as well. So
yep. So we do see your message, Jerry. Jerry's asking, how long do you think it will take for my credit card to get better? I already have 3 prepaid credit cards I'm using.
Well, I'll tell you this much, Jerry. For in regards to your credit to get better, it has to be a combination of things.
Yep.
So obviously you're tackling that 30% aspect of credit, which is the utilization, the debt ratio. The magic number I've always said is 30%. So meaning that if you have the total balance, you divide that by 3, and that'll give you the 30%. If you could go ahead and pay that off and just leave it at 0, more props to you. But obviously that should be something you should strive for. But keep in mind too, you're never going to reach the highest score possible if you have any type of blemish. So it's important for you to just not only focus on building or continuing to build, which is a great strategy, by the way. Besides that, as an addition to you opening more credit cards, also consider so this way you don't pile up so many credit cards. Consider maybe adding yourself as an authorized user.
Yeah.
So if you have a spouse, you have a family member, or somebody that could go ahead and help you, let them know, put you as an authorized user, just to make sure though. Keep in mind that account cannot have any lates. That account, if it's over the 30% utilization, it would obviously not be so beneficial to you.
hmm
New things to so besides that, also look at the negative history. If you have any negative history, obviously you should consider disputing that. And if you have any questions, any concerns, keep in mind, guys, we offer a free credit evaluation. If you contact our office at the 1-855-532-8453, option number 1, you should get one of our account executives, and we offer a free evaluation.
Yep.
We'll give you a tons of information, just so that you guys can take advantage of that. So
So we get another.
what's up, Darian?
He says, I keep getting letters in the mail about student loans. Oh, I go to
Consolidation.
so believe me,
We got
it's a
student loans, man.
it's a private school, and
Yeah,
it's trust me, it's no joke.
yeah.
Consolidation. What do you think about that?
Well, I'll tell you this much. When it comes to consolidating student loans,
Mm-hmm.
there's different ways of going about it. I do know that with regards to student loans, there's 2 programs out there that are very common programs that we offer, we suggest. But consolidating loans, you would have to literally speak directly to whoever it is that's offering those to you. Sometimes it's very difficult to consolidate, especially given the fact that you might have different loans from different lenders.
Right.
So, if that's something that you're obviously considering to do because maybe the payments that you're paying on a monthly basis is too much, then you should actually ask with regards to what's called the income-driven repayment plan program. And really what the income-driven repayment plan, it will literally gather all your loans together, because that's really what they do. Keep in mind, guys, when you look at your at your credit report and what happens is that there might be different payments, but in reality, through the income driven repayment plan program, all you're paying is one single payment based on your income. So if right now, obviously, if you have a family, they're going to take things into consideration: your
Right.
income, your debt to income ratios, and then obviously if you're eligible for a reduction because of your hardship or whatnot. Keep in mind, student loans are not going anywhere. So
Right.
we could go ahead and pay those loans for the next 25 years, but it's a comfortable $100 payment a month. Well, let it be. It's $100 a month. You know what? There's no rush to pay those student loans anyway. So
And that's one thing is just to you have to look at it from a perspective of a business, right? So these loan organizations are businesses, and worst case scenario is they have someone that defaults on it, which they don't want because
yeah,
we did a video on it where
yeah, we have actually have a video. Check us out, guys. Didn't we just do one of the
on the
on the
rehabilitation.
rehabilitation and also the income driven? So check
Correct.
that out also on the channel. But absolutely, man. You know, at the end, you should consider whatever avenue is good.
Yep.
I have heard of several forgiveness programs as well. You should ask about that. You should literally contact a provider and just request. Do you guys have the income-driven repayment plan program? Something that's based on my income. It's not really based on the total loan amount, and you guys are giving me a single payment based on the interest. No,
Right.
you're literally considering what I'm making and whatever's comfortable for me to be able to make these payments.
And that's one thing is that don't avoid it. Don't avoid it. Go ahead and give them a call and say, hey, look, you know, I'm not really in the greatest position right now. A lot of students, they get the degrees, and
Yeah.
you know what? It's hard. It's hard trying to find that job that can sufficiently cover your lifestyle and the loan. So
Student loans at the end, guys, they have to be handled.
Yeah.
They have to be taken care of. At the end, you know, it's one of those things that if you don't, then there are going to be repercussions. You know, to the extreme of
you'll regret it more afterwards than you would if you would have just addressed it and spoken to them. Because a lot of times, they'll help you. I know I had to go to the hospital, and I said, I gotta pay $1,500 just for them to put the IV inside of me.
Yeah,
I didn't even have an
expensive
issue.
stuff, man.
So I got the bill, and it was a lot more than I thought. I took the time. I said, you know what, let me go ahead and give them a call. I didn't even know that I can have them reduce it, like from the phone call. So that's something to keep in mind. Talk to them, ask them. A lot of times it's about asking the right question because they're not gonna be willing to give you that info, and then you'll be in a better
It's in
position.
your best interest to ask.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
let's jump on this because I'm melting like ice. Next time we're gonna have a fan up in here.
So we know a lot of people that call in are either interested, have plans on becoming a business owner, or they have a business and they've run into some roadblocks. Either that's getting a loan from a bank, getting a loan from a merchant cash advance, which is kind of like a cash advance, but for businesses.
Yep.
So people want to know how important is it that your business credit and your personal credit, which is actually more important.
Well, I will tell you this much for the most part. Coming from a business banking setting from Bank of America, personal credit's always going to take the lead. With regards to that, keep in mind that what the lender wants, they want to feel comfortable. They want to make sure that this loan's going to get repaid.
Yep.
So for the most part, they want to tie a face, or they want to tie an individual. So having personal credit is highly important. It's at the end, when it comes to actually having business credit, it's something obviously that I've done within what I'm doing as well within my business. And it's good to have business credit as well. Establishing, going through Duns and Bradstreet, getting your Duns number, putting information behind it. There's rules and regulations that apply on the personal that don't apply on the business.
Yep.
And because of that, the
Absolutely
Fair Credit
right.
Reporting Act does not enforce certain information that has to be transmitted to your business. So in a sense, you're going to have to take the initiative to do it yourself. And, in reality, what we really want to go ahead and do when building business credit is really separate business from personal. With traditional Fargo, guess what? Even though you have business credit, they're going to consider your personal as important. So it's important to obviously not only work on the personal. You can work obviously on the business credit because that could be a huge feature. One of the things that I like to go ahead and encourage people to do is don't only work. It's kind of like what you tell me, or what we hear with social media platforms. Don't only focus yourself on Facebook baseball. Don't
Yep.
only focus on you the
All of
aspects.
them.
Why? You cannot leave a stone unturned. So in a sense, if I could leverage my business credit for this type of line of credit or for this type of, then do it.
Mm-hmm.
And if that's going to benefit your business, obviously to establish your personal, and that in a sense cohesively could be also an advantage or beneficial. So they're both important, I say.
And just to piggyback on you, I had a little bit of history working with merchant cash advances, which is, like I was just saying, it was basically one business advancing a significant amount of money towards another business. So it's just like how you would normally do a regular cash advance, but to a regular person. And one thing that I can promise you that the underwriters always say, they always look at that credit score, not the business one,
Yeah.
but that credit one.
Your
That's the
personal,
one
yeah.
that's going to determine whether they're going to offer you $5,000 or $250,000. Because what they want to do is, unfortunately, the MCA industry isn't regulated. So what happens is, if you default on them, there's a high probability that
Yep.
they will not be able to regain that money. They can't even taxable.
Yep.
So they put a lot of emphasis on your personal credit. So even if you're thinking about opening a business, you're thinking about getting a loan, just understand that personal credit is going to follow your interest to maximize that.
Just to give a little bit of a personal backfield with regards to building business credit and something that I've done.
Yeah.
Just a few months ago, obviously my mom was having an issue with her car, and I told her, of course, I'm going to help you out. But obviously, I'm in the process of buying my home, and in home loans, one of the make it or break it types of stuff, which is obviously done through the debt to income ratio, is based when people actually get car loans and they put that on their personal